Now, this Carpenter moron back here, he's making some type of shelving video. He thinks he's going to inspire you to put some shelves up and clean up your garage. He thinks he's changing the world with his carpenter tricks. But what we really want to know is which is best, the 4-foot level or the laser level? I'm not going to lie, the Carpenter did. I think you know that I've been the carpenter the whole time, right? The storage shelves are flaming fire. The garage is a damn thing of beauty. And it was the perfect project to figure out which one of these tools is best for the average homeowner. Now, because these storage brackets are all manufactured the exact same, the middle mounting point was identical in all 4 of the brackets. It made leveling pretty easy. I was just going to level that middle mounting point all the way along. Using the level is a bit cumbersome here because I'm going 12 feet across from end to end, and I have to just transfer the mark all the way along. It's a little bit of a game of telephone here, and because the brackets are actually 4 feet apart, I kind of have to tape in between in order to just get level over to one of the brackets. And then when it comes to finding the studs, now you're not exactly sure where they are. You have to pre-plan those. It takes a bit of time, and it can be kind of a little bit frustrating and difficult to get that bubble right in between the black lines and get your mark. I've done it quite a bit, so I'm good at it. But for the average homeowner, I'm not sure exactly how level you're going to be by the time you get to the end of the shelf brackets here. And now making those same marks with the laser level is very simple. I ended up using a tripod here. 90% of the time I just stick this right onto a metal corner bead and you can slide it up and down. It works beautifully. I used the cheap Amazon tripod just because it does make it a little simpler and easier. You got a little crank on here. You can dial it right into the level. But yeah, I measured off the ground, got my midpoint there, shot this line right onto the pencil mark. And now you can just kind of walk along with the stud finder and put the mark on exactly in the middle of the stud and at the right height. All in all, the laser level was about 5 times quicker than the 4-footer and probably a lot more accurate. Now, when it came to installing the brackets, I just screwed in that middle screw, and then the 4-foot level actually very handy here to get the thing nice and plumb it up, hold it in place, put in the last 2 remaining screws. A little tip here, if you ever put these type of brackets in, go ahead and glue the little spacer plates on the back. The first time I did them in my other garage, I did not, and it's much harder. I just used some CA glue. I roughed up the little plastic spacers and then glued them right onto the bar. That way you don't have to mess around, and because of the little lip on the spacers, it makes them hard to get in there. And yeah, so the 4-foot level worked excellent for plumbing these up. Now for the laser level, it might be slightly more time consuming. All I did was I measured the offset on the edge of the bracket, made a mark, lined up the plumb setting on here and just shot that right on there. But now your hand's free and you can line that up beautifully. So if I'm a homeowner, which one of these tools, I would highly recommend the laser level. Now, this does have its place if you want to beat a dead horse, or you're cutting some straight lines, or you're just particularly clumsy. Probably the 4-footer is your best bet. But having been a kind of a retired carpenter for the last 4 years, I find myself reaching for the laser level almost 99% of the time. It's just so simple. You're hanging some pictures or some whiteboards, you clip this onto a corner bead. Now you've got a perfect level line that goes the whole distance of the room. The thing that I also like about this is, say you're working in a bathroom putting up some hardware and you're in some tight spaces, the 4-foot level is just it's not gonna fit in a lot of areas. You can get smaller levels, torpedoes, 2-footers, but the laser level is gonna fit into any space, and you're almost always gonna be able to find a corner bead. If you wanna get one of the cheap tripods, you can go that direction. I will link all of the stuff from this video in the description. When it comes to which kind of laser level you should get, I've been a huge fan of the DeWalt one. There's different makes and manufacturers. You can get cheaper ones. The thing that I love here is the magnets on here. They stick perfectly onto the corner bead. You can slide them up and down, which is not the case for most of the lasers out there. In terms of red versus green, the red one's a little cheaper, so I've always stuck with red. This is my 3rd DeWalt over the last 15 or so years. If they take big drops from like 10, 8 feet. They're not gonna last forever. And hey, if you have a miter saw and you don't really know how to use it that well, you definitely wanna check out this video right over here. Yeah, man, I painted trees for every goddamn day of my life for about 30 years, so I don't know what to tell you, man. I didn't want to paint those dumb trees, but the checks kept coming in and I kept painting trees. Oh, I didn't know that. We'll see you later, bud.